rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Tonight from East London, the playoffs move into the semi-final round as the defending champion London Lions play host to the 5th-seeded Newcastle Eagles. London, fresh off their quarterfinal win over Surrey, will rely on the home crowd to push them to victory in this opening leg, with a 2-game coming at Sunday's matchup in Newcastle. For the reigning league trophy champion Eagles, tonight's game will test a team that has been dealing with a string of injuries to key players. But Coach Mark Studel's squad has shown resilience and character all season and look to make a statement tonight in one of the loudest venues in the league. Welcome to Olympic Park and the Copper Box Arena. It's semifinal action in Super League basketball as we have reached the Final Four, still standing in the home and away format with aggregate scoring. Alongside Team GB Olympian and former London Lion Xenia Stewart, I am Todd Harris Z. So here we are in the Final Four. This is a very intriguing matchup.
Intriguing and very exciting. The last game here in the Copper Box Arena. The fans are starting to fill in. It's going to be exciting.
Let's bring you up to speed on what happened in the quarterfinals. If you were just joining us, as the 8 teams that made it into the playoffs had their aggregate scoring, that home and away system playoff taken care of. And it was interesting with that quadruple header right off the back as teams really flexed their muscles. London did a good job, although they gave away a 20-point lead. It took a 5-point lead to Surrey. Then you saw the lone game on Sunday with the Sheffield Sharks getting the better of the Cheshire Phoenix to clinch their ticket into the semifinals. Surrey could not match London's power, so they are knocked out. London moves on. Leicester Riders take care of business with Bristol. And, of course, Manchester got the win, but they lost on aggregate to the Newcastle Eagles. As we take a look at the semifinals now, the Final Four left standing. It'll be London tonight hosting Newcastle. Sheffield will host Leicester. And then we reverse things on Sunday with Leicester hosting Sheffield and London traveling up to Newcastle for their second game. So the players are ready and the fans continue to make their way inside the Copper Box. Just moments ago, I had a chance to speak with head coach Mark Studel of the Newcastle Eagles. Coach Studel, congratulations. Welcome to the semifinals. What did you guys learn in that first matchup with Manchester that you can carry forward against London?
Yeah, I've got a tough, together, resilient team. You know, when the backs are against the wall, we've shown all year we have different ways how to try and find ways to win. Last week I was so proud of my team. We've had a good year on the whole. We won a trophy, done well in Europe. Last weekend I don't think I've ever been more proud of my team.
Look at your team now, though. You guys have a lot of injuries. You guys are banged up at the end of the season. Does that change the way you work your rotation or your approach, or are you still going to play Newcastle ball?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of today, it's half time. But I know that my guys, want to live and breathe every possession. So, yeah, I think, we understand that there's 80 minutes, 40 today, 40 on Sunday. But against this team, you've got to make sure you manage tempo. You can't allow them to have some of the scoring runs that they've had at different points throughout the year. So, yeah, every possession matters.
What are the keys for you guys, offensively and defensively, against a team like London that has so much depth?
Yeah, I think, defensively they've got a really clear DNA, a really clear identity. Credit to Coach Bozic and his guys and getting his guys to defend the way that he does. And offensively, I think if you can try and force certain guys to make more than others, and if you can try and defend the paint consistently for 24 seconds, finish plays, rebounding, for sure they're key areas. And
finally, for you, we'll get you out on this one. You guys have a lot of speed in that backcourt. Is there an opportunity for you to maybe speed up the game, or do you feel comfortable playing set offense against London?
I think what we've shown all year is that we can probably play different tempo and different styles with different lineups. I think that's probably our lineup dependent. So I think that's for me to manage, rhythm and flow of the game. But for sure, like I say, every possession matters, and we're excited to be in the semi-finals.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Thank you. And Xenia, there's no tears from Newcastle for Coach Mark Studel because his cupboards are not bared. Speaking initially at number 7, Seneca Knight, he is a playmaker.
Absolutely, and potentially could be coming off the bench. We'll have to see that, but he's averaging those 14 points and 6 rebounds. He had those 22 points last game. He's huge. What I love about him is his certainty, getting to the rim, dunking it on guys. That's what they're going to need. They're going to need his energy today.
And the straw that stirs the drink for these Eagles, none other than the 6'3" guard from North Carolina, Mike Okoro.
Absolutely, and he's the second best scorer in the SLB, averaging just under 18 points, but also those assists. He's able to get his other teammates in formation. He's shooting the ball well from a clip. He is the big part of this Newcastle Eagles. He is the engine. He has to roar, and he has to hit 5th gear immediately.
Guarantee the London Lions will be aware of where Mike Okoro is at all times, and they'll have someone shadowing him to make sure he does not go on a heater. For head coach Peter Bosic, this is familiar territory. They were in the semifinals last year and had a chance to speak with the third-year coach of the London Lions just a short time ago. Coach Bosic, welcome to the semifinals. What did you guys learn in that first round playing Surrey to 2 games?
First, I think for a lot of players and myself was the new experience about 2-leg system, so aggregate system. So definitely that was the first step. I mean, we saw it close to end of the season, throughout the whole season, but especially close to end of the season, where we have a very tough schedule with some injuries. How every possession, every game is extremely important. So you know, it's not that we found out anything new in that first round, but yeah, now it's high-stake games, a lot to give inside, and every possession matters.
What kind of problems does Newcastle bring to you here in the Copper Box tonight?
I mean, they are a very good team. They have a very talented team who is able to create their own shots. They know that they don't play with a lot of assists, but at the same time, that's very dangerous because they have multiple players who can create and score, you know, 20, 30 points easily. And we faced that early in the season a few times.
You guys have a pretty deep bench, and they are a little bit banged up coming into the semifinals. Is this a situation where you'd like to get it in an up-paced tempo and run them because you know you have deeper benches, or are you going to still go what they give you?
I mean, the less rotation definitely give confidence players because they know that they're allowed to make mistakes. On the other side, yes, you're right that, you know, maybe some of the angle for us how to play tonight, it is with a high-paced rhythm and, you know, like on both ends of the floor.
Thank you. Well, Xenia, he is new to the London Lions, but Alan Hadzibegovic, the Montenegro national, has been a revelation for these home fans.
Absolutely, and was on Defensive Team of the Year in the SLB. So not only is he protecting the rim, he's running the floor, he's dunking with authority. His teammates are finding him. He's also shooting 58% from the floor. He's efficient, but what I loved about him, he's consistent. You find him down low, you know I love a good post player, and he's doing that for the London Lions.
Well, if he is the sizzle, then Michael Brisker might be the spice, because Brisker brings in a nice average of 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists almost every game.
Absolutely, and for me, a championship team, not only do you need to play defense, you need a good post. That's what you get in Hadzibegovic, but then you need the point guard, and here he is, Brisker. And like you said, he's also shooting just under 40% from the three-point line behind the arc. A great clip. He started off the season so slow from the three-point line, wasn't happy with that, and now he's improved, and he's a killer from behind the arc.
So the table is set here for the first match of 2 here in the semifinals. The winner going on to the O2, and this is the breaking news that Newcastle Eagle fans did not want to see. Darius Defoe, a veteran of the league, is not going to be able to go tonight. The 6'7" forward from London only played 13 minutes in the last meeting against London, had 0 points, but he injured that ankle against Manchester, so he's a no-go tonight. And look how thin the Newcastle Eagles become now. They'll start off with Long Polio Okoro, Josh Ward-Hibbert, who's also banged up, and Will Neighbor gets the start. But see, you look at that bench, that's not a typo, that is it. Christian James, Seneca Knight, Savor Candy coming off the bench.
You're right, it's not a typo. That's exactly who they've got. They're down, you know, but the thing is, you've got to step up, you know, and I loved what the coach Strudel said, about his team, that they're willing to work, they're going to play, and, you know, vacation could be next week, so you're going to give it your all now.
Next man up mentality for the Newcastle Eagles. Remember, this is just the first half of 2. For the London Lions, a familiar starting lineup with Jaden Dallaire, Michael Brisker, Aaron Wright, Tyler Peterson, and Alan Hadzibegovic. But Z, you look at that bench, that next 5 up, that could be a starting lineup in the league as well.
And I like to call that a luxury, you know, and has, Coach Bozic uses his bench very well. He plays his guys, you know, around 20, 25 minutes. It's only Aaron Ryan that's averaging that 30 minutes. He's going to use that bench to wear down the Eagles.
We'll see how it all plays out. Both coaches very coy about how they'll play it, whether it's up-tempo or a half-court offense. One thing for certain is this is an opportunity to take a big step forward to playing at the O2 Arena in the championship. Hey, there's only one place to be in London on a Friday night. Friday Night Lights and the box that rocks. The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, bringing in a little SLB basketball and already repping the LDN hat.
Wow.
Good to have you with us, good sir.
Like some basketball indeed. There also with the GM of London Lions. So full house as it starts to fill up. Good atmosphere in here for it's Friday. Why not?
I can neither confirm nor deny that the mayor is here to see Azania Stewart, but there's a good opportunity because she is dressed to the T's tonight as usual. Jumping it half court will be Alen Hadzibegovic against Will Neighbor. This is a good matchup. Both men stand 6'10", and don't be surprised if you see Will Neighbor dragging Hadzibegovic out beyond the 3 as we are underway in the Copper Box semifinal action in the SLB. See, you talked about this in the pregame. You anticipate London wanting to really push the pace because they know the depth of bench that Newcastle's carrying, or lack thereof?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to want to push really fast, get out in transition. That's where they do well.
Nice help defense there as Long came over, but Aaron Rye, who was somewhat questionable whether he was going to start tonight, gets the first bucket of the game.
Aaron Rye doing Aaron Rye things, and for me it's the offensive rebounds. Okay, he missed, but he goes back up.
Nice bullet pass underneath there off the hands of Okoro. Alen Hadzibegovic leads the fast break. Aaron Rye with a slow little delay, looks around, doesn't see anything inside, gives it back to Peterson. Around the horn to Dallaire. Brisker on the wing now. He likes the 3, gives it up to Hadzibegovic, loses the handle momentarily, goes right back at Neighbor. And like a good neighbor, that ball goes astray. So Will Neighbor holding his ground against Hadzibegovic.
Good defense from Will Neighbor, obviously into the starting lineup. And a super vet has played in this league for a very long time.
Talk about super vets, the former London Lion and Josh Ward-Hibbert back in familiar territories, going head-to-head with Jaden Dallaire. A beautiful outside shot from Mike Okoro.
And that's what I said, he's shooting that 36% from beyond the arc, and he's seeing his first bucket go in. That's dangerous for London Lions.
Tyler Peterson gets a head full of steam, drives the baseline, nothing there, but Neighbor kicks it back out to Aaron Rye. He's not afraid to go inside, leaves a little bit short, and they're going to wave off the bucket. They're going to call the foul as Aaron Rye took a shot to the melon.
Josh Ward-Hibbert.
Hibbert picks up his first. But I tell you, Z, when you have a bench that is as thin as Mark Stoodle's right now, I'm guessing every single foul makes him cringe just a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, he's going to talk about that with his team. I think they'll probably go into a zone for a little bit to protect guys that are in foul trouble. You know, he's got hardly anyone on the bench.
Yeah.
So these guys know they're going to be playing huge minutes. So you have to see a different style of defense, you know, every other possession potentially.
You were able to speak with Darius DeBow before the game when the teams were warming up. Can you share anything what he shared with you?
Yeah, lovely conversation. Obviously, I called him the fine wine of Newcastle. And I said, hey, you hanging the boots up? He said, absolutely not, especially not like this. I don't want to. I still feel good. The body's feeling good.
Beautiful feet pass into Cole Long, but better help defense from Jaden Dallaire. And Peterson drives off the glass and lays it in for 2 more for the Lions.
And that's money for London Lions. That's how they need to get going.
Mike Okoro wastes no time in Z. When you're seeing it like he's seeing it right now, he has got a whole load of confidence right now in that right hand.
Absolutely. And, you know, he was great for this team in the trophy, which they won.
Josh Ward-Hibbert intercepts that pass.
Yeah, he was made defensive team, Josh Ward-Hibbert.
Eagles have numbers, kicks it out to Will Neighbor. He's not shy to fire that up, and usually pretty good from beyond the arc. Cole Long able to get the offensive rebound with Aaron Rye hounding him. Long, step back. Dirk Nowitzki style, Cole Long puts that in.
That's pretty.
That's Canada on Canada crime right there.
Sure is.
7-5, Eagles with the lead, and now they come up with a defensive rebound. Pulliam's been quiet. He finds Okoro. He wastes no time. Off the heel. Looked like that was nothing but net. Comes up a little bit long.
A little bit of a heat check, too. He's hit the first two.
Brisker has a good look at a three. His shot short. Josh Ward-Hibbert doesn't have the numbers. Decides to pull it back out. Gives it up to Pulliam. This young man has been really impressive to me. Trey Pulliam, the 6'3" swing guard out of Bryant, Texas.
17 points last game.
Nice little stutter step. And Jake Dallaire says, you may have beat me on the step, but I'm going to tap this off the backboard.
Absolutely.
Right. Peterson. Up and in for Peterson. Tyler Peterson from Circle Pines, Minnesota.
And that's how London Lions like to play, from the defensive end, that huge block, and then it sets their transition. It's going to be a long evening for Newcastle,
7. Does this pace, you think, favor one of the two teams?
Yeah, it's London Lions for sure, but Newcastle doing a good job just sticking around.
Oh, and the shooter's bounce. Hadzibegovic shrugs, saying, there's not much else I can do.
Well, I love that matchup between Will Neighbor and him, because they're both, same height, can post up, can stretch the floor. It's a good matchup between them both.
Koro bumps Peterson, takes it. Aaron Rye open for a three. Rye a little long. Koro knocks it in the hands of Josh Ward-Hibbert, and here come the Eagles.
Newcastle doing a good job keeping London Lions to one shot and getting that rebound.
Boy, you see Michael Koro, as soon as he gets in the front court, anywhere near the three-point line, he draws some attention. Will Neighbor feeling it from distance.
Good job. A nice pick and roll there. Good start from the Eagles.
That's the first bucket for Will Neighbor in the playoffs. Did not score in the first two games against Manchester, and here he is picking up 5 points already in this first quarter. Brisker on the drive, leads it for Hadzibegovic, and an easy two as the big man throws it down.
Good find as Will Neighbor had to come over and double. Found the big fella underneath the hoop.
Trey Pulliam running the offense for head coach Mark Studel. Again, we pointed out just 3 players on the bench available if Cole Long gets in trouble. Neighbor thought about another 3. Hadzibegovic closes that down quickly. Pulliam, Dallaire on him. Pull up from 15, can't get it to fall. Shot clock was winding down.
That's tough for Pulliam.
Dallaire from range. Shot rattles out, and again, to your point, Z, one shot and done.
Yeah. But Pulliam has Dallaire on him that time.
Yeah.
Dallaire's so long, he's already blocked his shot, so Pulliam is, second guessing.
Will Neighbor in the paint. Hadzibegovic not letting him go anywhere. Josh Ward-Hibbert now draws the double. Hibbert, deep range 3, partially blocked by Aaron Rye. Great job by Rye not to commit the foul beyond the 3. Hadzibegovic for 3. His shot off the front rim. Here comes Michael Koro. Tries to split the defense and goes right at 3 Lions and gets the deuce.
What a lovely job from Mike.
Ooh, Magic Mike.
Magic Mike indeed. He's not afraid of the big moments. We spoke about he has to show up and show up big. He has indeed. I love that effort. He's hit those 2 threes here. Usually you would, pull the ball out and wait for assistance. He says, no, don't worry. I'm going to take it to the hoop myself.
Got past Peterson, and they was able to get past Dallaire and goes right at their big man, Alan Hadzibegovic, and Michael Koro gets the bucket to fall. 14-9, a 5-point lead with 3:44 to go, and Jake Dallaire, look at this recovery, DZ.
Yeah, 2 blocks for him now, really protecting the rim, and that's the thing, because he's so long and lean, you think you've beaten him, but then he just sneaks up from behind and blocks the shot.
Jake Dallaire is 6'9" forward out of Windsor, Connecticut, played his college ball at Stanford, and he is an absolute specimen, because you think he's maybe just a post player. He doesn't have a problem shooting threes, and you saw how quick-footed he is on his lateral movement.
Yeah, and and he's been a go-to guy now. He's been coming off the bench at times. Now he's in the starting lineup. I love that he can stretch the floor. He can put the ball on the floor as well. So not only can he shoot the 3, he can drive, get to the rim. He's efficient, and I love his style. He's quite cool, calm, and collective. He doesn't get too much emotional, and I really like him for the London Lions.
there was a point in the season when Jake Dallaire was actually coming off the bench for head coach Petar Bozic when Ovi Soko was completely healthy. Speaking of Ovi Soko, he has checked into the game, and that is a welcome sight for all the London Lion fans, especially the females who are big fans of Ovi Soko. But he has been banged up a little bit with that foot, and he is back and looking better than ever.
Yeah, he's definitely the basketball bachelor for London Lions for sure. Handsome man indeed.
And is there a nicer person in the league?
Oh, so nice.
He's good people. That pass goes awry into the hands of Josh Ward-Hibbert. Christian James is now checked into the game, so the first substitution for Coach Studel. Remember, just 3 active players on the bench. As James goes inside, Peterson gives him a little bit of a bump. Can't get it to fall. Here come the Lions.
Also, Knight subbed in, didn't we? We talked about him at the start of the game.
Knight is checked in as well, number 7. Jake Dallaire, right down the lane. Beautiful shot, just 6 feet out. Little floater over the defense.
And that's what I was talking about before, when he's able to stretch the floor, but has that soft touch.
Tyler Peterson trying to hound Mike Okoro, and Ovi Soko gets his hands in the way momentarily, and the foul is committed. Peterson's called with the foul, but it was Ovi coming over in the double team. Here it is one more time. And there was the foul there. So Tyler Peterson picks up his first, the 6'4" guard out of Circle Pines, Minnesota. Played his college ball in South Dakota. Okoro. You know what? That's a nuisance. And I'm sure after a while, Okoro's going to be like, this Peterson kid is just getting in my business a few too many times.
Yeah, go away, but Peterson doesn't. You know, he's right up under him. And he's going to have to, because the way he started, you need to be stuck to him like glue. He's on 7 points, leading the scorers.
Playing that white on rice defense. Just sticking to him. Here comes Ovi Soko with a rebound. 2 Holloways checked into the game as well. Skip pass. Dallaire in the corner. 3 ball. Got it.
Beautiful feet set. Good pass right into his hands from Aaron Wright. And there we have it. He can stretch the floor. He can drive. He's the complete package.
Newcastle's 5-point lead has now evaporated. Beautiful pass inside as Okoro was trying to get it into the hands of Knight, and he just wasn't ready for it. Slips right through his hands. So Okoro and Neighbor are going to get their first break with 2:11 to play in the first quarter. Trey Pulliam back on the floor, as is Cole Long. So Pulliam on Peterson. They maintain this man-to-man defense. See, it'll be interesting how soon they go to that zone. Seneca Knight draws Aaron Rye. Long gets Ovi Soko on the switch. To Holloway now. Lob inside. Yeah, good luck blocking that. Ovi Soko, all 4% body fat of him, goes up with authority and lays that in easily.
And Nice just kind of hid underneath the basket, and Holloway found him.
If you get Ovi that close to the rim,
he's dunking the ball and the defense. Nice cut here.
Hibbert maintains his dribble, and it's going to be a kick ball. So it'll be 14 on the shot clock. 1:32 to play here in the first quarter semifinal action from the Copper Box, and we are 16-14. London on top as they trailed by 5 at one point, 14-9, and they had gone on to defensive clamps as Tyler Peterson gets his first breather as Michael Brisker checks back into the game.
Here comes Michael Okoro too. What was that? 2 seconds?
Not even a minute. Maybe a minute 10. I mean, yeah, 60 seconds we'll say for Okoro getting a breather.
Quick drink and get back into the game.
Trey Pulliam's got a lightning quick first step. Good matchup here with two Holloway. James takes the bump from Dallaire. Brings his dribble back, drives to the foul line, goes in, takes the contact. Little too hard. Ovi Soko keeps it alive to Brisker. Brisker finds Rye on the wing. Three-pointer on its way. Can't get it to fall. Okoro, look at him spinning away, looking to run. And he's tripped up, and they're going to get either Jaden Dallaire or Ovi Soko. They'll give it to Ovi Soko.
Yeah, tripped him.
It's not a bad foul to take. Okoro was going one place to the rim.
Yeah, full speed ahead.
And two Holloway back there, but if it's a defensive battle or a jumping battle, I'm going to take Okoro over Holloway. Stuckman comes in, as does Adi Adebayo. So here's where the depth of the London Lions bench starts to flex. They only have one starter on the court right now, that being Michael Brisker. Tanner Stuckman, big pickup for the Lions earlier this year. He came across early part of the 25 calendar year. Pulliam can't get it to fall, wanted a foul, doesn't get it. Adebayo comes away with it. Here comes Holloway. Beautiful pass inside, can't get it. As he was trying to thread between two Newcastle Eagles to Ovisoko.
Really good hands from
Okoro
Newcastle.
on the bump. Seneca Knight on a way, can't get it to fall. Stuckman boxing out, takes the rebound. Holloway will take a bump, and Cole Long will pick up that one. That's a momentum foul there as Holloway takes the bump. 16-14, 29 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Semifinal action. Remember, this is just the first half, and I think the best way to think of it, after this game's over, that's halftime. Yeah, the second half will take place on Sunday in Newcastle.
And the Newcastle fans, they show up and show out as well.
Yes, they do.
And a couple of them have traveled.
Got the drum going, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Stuckman tried to get that into Ovisoko, hands in the way, and it's deflected into the hands of Trey Pulliam.
Good defense here from Newcastle. A couple of possessions. London Lions haven't even had a shot.
Pulliam drives the lane. Brisker gets him. That first step by Trey Pulliam is lethal.
First quarter of the other semi-final, Sheffield versus Leicester. Sheffield 26, Leicester 21.
5-5.
Yep. They finish the first quarter.
So the winners of these two games on aggregate will go to the O2 Arena. Ovisoko with some tough defense there on Seneca Knight. Seneca Knight introduced to the biceps of Ovisoko.
That's it.
And that'll wrap things up for the first quarter as that shot goes awry. It is 16-14, Lions on top as they really put the defensive hammer down on the Eagles. Remember, the Eagles were up 14-11 at one point, but over the last 2 minutes, the Newcastle comes away with nothing.
Yeah, just the London Lions sticking with it, and you talked about it, them being able to go to their bench, and that's where I think overall, you know, this is a 40-minute game. That's going to wear and tear Newcastle down. But great start for Newcastle, especially Mike Okoro's 7 points. He hit those 2 threes, you know, pushing the pace. Here's the stats of the first quarter. London Lions 47% from the field, good clip, and also 67. So you're shooting at that clip, of course, you're going to come back into the game. And then also those 5 assists, but I do like those 5 steals from Newcastle Eagles. Only 2 points off of turnovers, but a good job.
The question, I guess, is everyone's going to be asking, if you're a Newcastle fan, is this sustainable? Do they have the legs coming off that tough matchup with Manchester that just finished up on Monday? Do they have the legs 5 days later here on a Friday to go all 40 minutes against the London Lions?
Well, we're at the end of the season, right? Bodies are banged up. Yeah. There's a lot of minutes in the legs, but you are in complete game shape, right? If they did have a bench, I think that would definitely help. But this Eagles team, you know, they've gone over in Europe.
Yeah.
They've played in the ENBL. They make it to the final. Sadly, they lose that 82-95, but they've done tremendous work pushing the Super League basketball league across Europe. They've had a wonderful season. They made the trophy. They win the trophy. I think they've done a great job with, you know, with what they've with what has been given. And the thing is about basketball, you do have injuries. You do have ups and downs, and Coach Mark has done a great job trying to manage all of that.
You talk about the Newcastle Eagles in the very capable hands of Mark Studel. Their season really not where they wanted to be with a 14-18 record. They come in as the number 5 seed, but remember, they did win the trophy. And so they already have some silverware, but this is a guy, and I talked to him before the game, he's exhausted. Studel, remember, he took the national team, and they played in that Euro Cup. I mean, he has been coaching pretty much nonstop since August.
Yeah, the Eurobasket qualifiers in the February and November, you're right, he hasn't had a break, and we have to give him his flowers. You know, to make the semi-finals here, they're only down 2. They're going to push till the very last second.
So it's Newcastle that comes out trailing by 2 to start the second quarter. After 40 minutes of play here in London, they will transition Sunday up to Newcastle. So it'll basically be halftime on the scores. Adebayo is called for that foul on Seneca Knight, got all his money's worth on that one. That'll send Seneca Knight to the free throw line.
Well, Seneca Knight shoots
79%.
79. Yep, from the free throw line.
15 points and 7 rebounds in the regular season. Z averaging 17 points and 12 rebounds in the first 2 games of the playoffs against Manchester.
He's definitely needed as in back rims. These free throws are going to be important for Newcastle.
Yeah, I think every point and every foul for Newcastle is going to be huge.
They shoot also 79% for the season as a team.
Gets the second one to fall. So 2 Holloway stays in with Obi Soko, Stuckman as well, Adebayo and Brisker. Stuckman getting position down on Long. Threads it inside to Obi Soko, flashing across the front, can't get his shot to drop. Taken away by the Eagles. Trey Pulliam now running the point, guarded by Terrell Holloway. Little motion offense here, trying to find some space for Michael Kuro. Pulliam inside. Obi Soko read that like a NFL free safety. He's taken right down Main Street, and Adi Adebayo lays it in.
Really good job from Obi Soko. Forces the Eagles to take a timeout. He read that. You could see it like a little, I guess, little quarterback or somebody comes
Free
in.
safety, yeah, defensive back. Yeah.
And then passes it off like a quarterback. Thank you very much. Good job from him there. Steals it out of the air, sets off in transition, and then the little dime. Good job from Obi Soko.
Smart timeout by head coach Studel, not wanting to let this thing go, and the little momentum. Remember, he's playing with just 3 players active on his bench, so an 8-man rotation. And with 9:01 to go, getting a sense that London was starting to feel it as the fans really starting to get into the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought Coach Mark Studel talked about in his interview, just talking about how, you know, he really wanted to control tempo, you know, manage the tempo of London Lions. They like, you know, the rhythm, they're getting out, so they want to be, you know, slow things down sometimes, set a good play, sometimes they're getting out in transition. So I think he wants to just take this time out, talk about a few things, and get back on track.
So it's a 3-point London lead as the Eagles started out hot, and I guess the common sense question or thing would be, you got to get the ball in the hands of Michael Kuro, because he hit those first 2 threes, and I don't think he's cool off. He did miss the 3rd attempt, but this is a guy that can score in bunches. He reminds me of some of those great Detroit Piston players of the 90s. They can heat up fast like the microwave.
Indeed, and you know, he's able to heat it up, and we've spoken about his average is averaging just under 19 points. He's second in the league. He knows how to put the ball in the basket. He's just got to be completely consistent. But at the same time, if he can get his teammates involved, he's going to need a casting help. You know, he can't do it all by himself. So good start from him. And Neighbor also with 5 points, so hopefully he'll be back into the game as well.
We'll see what Coach Studel has drawn up here on the timeout. A set play to try to spring someone for some offense. Trey Pulliam gets it. Adebayo right on him. Pulliam drives across the lane, fakes, tries to get up and under. Cole Long, he'll take a long range 2, and then they'll give him the 3.
Yeah,
he was outside the arc, so a big bucket for the Eagles.
Great defense, but better offense. He shot that in rhythm, let it fly.
Talk about the short bench for Newcastle. Meanwhile, Jaden Dallaire, Tyler Peterson, Aaron Rye, they're all on the bench getting a nice long breather. That's a big image.
Just talking about when you've got a short bench as a player, yes, you know, fatigue might hit him, but you know you're staying on. You know you're playing the minutes, and you just got to manage that well. Try not to get in foul trouble.
Thought about a 3, kicks it over to Brisker. Brisker takes the bump, goes to his right-hand lane, floats it up, gets the shooter's roll. A little exasperated that he didn't get the foul, too, as the referees say play through. But he does get the 2. Nice play by Mike Brisker.
Nice soft touch as well.
Trey Pulliam's been quiet in this one. I don't know if that's a London point of emphasis to just disrupt him and not give him any room to range, as Christian James now gets it. Adebayo goes right at him. Somehow, Christian James gets the gets the foul, but that was a lot of...
I thought Adebayo, look at his feet, He's constantly shuffling, moving.
Let's
Let's have a look as he just comes down.
That's an NBA LeBron kind of...
I mean, he's got a LeBron body, doesn't he? His percentage is probably low as well, but good job. Sadly, he gets the foul, but I thought he'd done a wonderful job. Kept, his feet moving.
Christian James to the line where he is an 83% free throw shooter. And a technical foul now coming as Holloway has been teed up. Now Ovi Soko decides to get involved in the debate with Christian James.
Well, this is playoff basketball. It means a lot to both these teams.
Sure.
It's just getting a little bit...
little chippy here.
Chippy, yes.
Misses the second. So Ovi did his job. Stuckman. Can't get it to fall. James rips it away into the hands now of Pulliam. 1 point game, 20-19, 7:25 to play here in the first half. Tanner Stuckman called for the grab.
Interesting that the double was coming over. Soko was running over to double Michael Okoro to get the ball out of his hands. You can see he's on the way there, but foul. So Adebayo will come out and Aaron Rye will come in.
Tyler Peterson will sub in for Holloway. So you've got Ovi Soko, Michael Brisker, Stuckman, Peterson, and Aaron Rye now in as Okoro rims out on that one. Got a good look at it. Peterson weaving his way over to Stuckman. Back to Rye, back to Peterson. Inside Ovi Soko, deep range. Ovi. And he's going to be called for the
travel. Oyster card.
Travel, but he gave got a long, hard look from one Christian James.
Let's have a look here. Just kind of pulled the chair a little bit out under him.
Yeah, he just backed away. Look at this. I'm sure he wasn't checking to make sure Ovi was okay. So Ovi Soko takes a seat. That one rims out. Seneca Knight get it to fall. Hadzibegovic checks into the game. Aaron Rye, deep range corner. Thought about the three. Kicks it back out to Peterson. Over to Brisker. Brisker open lane drives off the glass and in for Michael Brisker.
Oh, his touch around the basket is exquisite.
Great ball movement by the London Lions as they now take a 3-point lead. Okoro, this time he tries a little closer. That one he can't get to fall. Peterson, wide open and running in an easy bucket as Newcastle caught napping there on defense.
And I don't even think he dribbled that ball. He just took his steps in stride, laid it up. And the crowd screams defense.
Josh Ward-Hibbert and Will Neighbor set to check in the next dead ball. Pulliam. Got a mismatch there with Hadzibegovic. Christian James drives the lane up and gets that one to fall.
Really lovely job from James there, protecting the ball, splits the defense, and finger rolls it in.
Peterson drives, kicks it back to Hadzibegovic. Beautiful trail by the big 44, so it's 22-44, easy math. And again, Newcastle racing back, beating London Lions at their own game.
Love that, and it's Mike Okoro setting the pace.
Yeah.
He could really be a track runner, couldn't he?
Oh my gosh, he moves quick.
Yeah, he's a runner.
But you know what I love about that, Z? His shot's not falling right now, so he's going to get involved in the game and get some assists.
Yeah, I like it.
Peterson, 15 feet out, buries it. And this is that track meet we talked about, Z. Definitely in favor of the London Lions. They just have more horses in the stable. Floater coming in the first bucket for Trey Pulliam.
He needed that. See the ball go in the net, get himself going.
Substitutions for Newcastle. Josh Ward-Hibbert will finally come in. Seneca Knight will get a breather. Trey Pulliam, after his first bucket, gets a breather. So they go big on Newcastle with Josh Ward-Hibbert and Will Neighbor stepping in. Christian James will stay on, as will Mike Okoro. Cole Long now be matched up with Jake Dallaire. Halfway point of the second quarter here as we are 5 minutes away from halftime. Alan Hadzibegovic draws the double team, goes right at Josh Ward-Hibbert. Great defense there not to commit a foul as Cole Long collects the rebound.
And I love that about Josh Ward-Hibbert, where he's able to guard multiple positions. Hence why he's on Defensive Team of the Year.
Former London Lion, quite an athlete. This guy can play multiple sports. And they're going to get Hadzibegovic for the hold.
Josh Ward-Hibbert was a tennis player, wasn't he? At a high level when he was young. And me and him went back and forth with the fashion looks when we were playing here together at London Lions.
Come on, I know where I'm putting my cash.
Thank you. I did win the award. Best dress. But close second, Josh Ward-Hibbert. He has some nice swaggy outfits.
4:32 to play in the first half. It'll send Will Neighbor to the line. And I was just about to say, Z, he is 100% in the playoffs, 7 for 7 from the line, but I didn't get the announcer jinx in, and he misses the first. Neighbor's been called into action already with 5 points and 2 rebounds. Make it 6 points on the season, averaging 3 points and 1 rebound. So he is stepping up at the right time for Coach Student.
He's had a lot of injuries this season, so really happy for him, especially. He's a former London Lion as well, and able to be in good health here in the playoffs.
Great ball movement from the Lions on the perimeter. Brisker drives, leaves it for Dallaire, and Dallaire will throw it down with ease.
And nothing they can do. Newcastle there changed into that zone. I was expecting 2-3 zone, and Dallaire just finds that open pocket.
Good hustle from Tyler Peterson as he knocks it into the expensive row. It'll be out of bounds to the Newcastle Eagles with 4:02 to play here in the first half. Boy, there's a conscientious effort of keeping Mike Okoro under wraps as much as possible.
For sure, you have to, right? He's not the leading scorer, second leading scorer in the league for a reason.
Jaden Dallaire takes the switch and just distracts him enough. His shot off the mark. Remember, he hit his first 2. He has missed his last 4. Peterson down. He'll bounce in his step, finds Brisker curling across. Kicks it back out to Dallaire. He'll set a 3 and can't get that to fall off the heel. Josh Ward-Hibbert went for it, and Jaden Dallaire is going to be called for the loose ball foul. Josh Ward-Hibbert was pretty banged up in that series against Manchester, but gutted through it. Only able to supply really 1.4 rebounds.
And I've really loved the trajectory of Josh Ward-Hibbert's career and how he's been playing. You know, he's been known as a defensive guy, but you know, he's added his offense. He can get to the rim, shoot the ball, and he's been so, you know, good key for any. He's a guy that you want on any team. You know, in London Lions, he was a great role player here in Newcastle Eagles. Not only a great guy on the court, off the court. He's definitely a gem that you want on your team.
Yeah, Josh Ward-Hibbert calmly steps up and knocks the first one down. A 75% free throw shooter. They'll certainly need his leadership going forward, not only in this game, but in the second game coming up on Sunday. And of course, being in Newcastle. Sheffield taking on Leicester in the other semifinal. We'll get you a score update on that as we get closer to halftime. This is the second. 30-27 Lions on top, coming up on 3.5 to play here in the first half. Dallaire with the screen. Peterson to Holloway, back to Rye. Rye, oh, beautiful dump and leave as Aaron Wright dumps it off and leaves it for Hadzibegovic, who's cutting down the lane.
Josh Ward-Hibbert with a push in the back, so that's his second foul. Here it is, let's have a look here.
Holloway wastes no time, rims that out. Hadzibegovic almost tips it in, but Aaron Wright comes away with it. Fresh 14 on the shot clock. Back to Wright, rewarded for his hustle. Can't get it to drop. Cole Long comes away with it. Josh Ward-Hibbert drives the baseline, tries to go up and under and gets the fall on Jaden Dallaire.
And really smart decision, as Coach Bozic said, that's enough as the Eagles make a run. What I love about that drive from Josh Ward-Hibbert, you know you've got Dallaire on your back, getting ready to block the shot. So what does he do? Drive the baseline, gets him away from him, and then reverses and uses the rim to protect him to score that. It's a lovely basket from him.
That's a crafty veteran move, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Very smart.
That's not a rookie move.
No. And it's a great way when you've got a 6'9" Dallaire who loves to block the shot. He's already got 2 blocks today and is walking you down. That's what you do. You use the rim to help you and defend off the defender.
So, Zany, as you look at this with just 2:56 to play in the first half, a relatively low-scoring game with a 1-point lead for the London Lions, I got to think Mark Studel and the Eagles are loving this right now.
I think absolutely they're loving this, and like I said earlier, that Coach Mark talked about controlling the tempo. They know London Lions likes to run a track meet, likes to get out, score quickly, but they've done a good job. Not only a good job at slowing them down, but it's the one shot and done. They're forcing them. If they're going to hit, it's going to be a tough shot.
Sure.
Here's the leading scorers, Peterson with 8. And also Michael Corey. He's been stuck on that 7 for quite some time, hasn't he?
You wonder if you get a play, if you're Mark Studel, if you want to get a player, either get him to the line so you can see the ball. You made a good point earlier in the game about just seeing the ball go through the hoop and building his confidence, because those first 2 threes, he had no problem pulling the trigger on those. Yeah,
that too, but what I do love now, other guys are getting involved. Fulham's got that 2 points, James. Everyone's who's playing is on the board. And that's what you're going to need. If you're a big player, which he's going to have to play big, but if he's just having a little bit of a slump, you need your supporting cast to step up.
So here we go. Final 2 minutes and 45 seconds of the first half of semifinal. This is the first game of 2, game 2 coming up on Sunday in Newcastle. Aggregate scoring in place to Holloway. Leaves it for Peterson. Peterson from the wing gets front iron. Josh Ward-Hibbert had it momentarily, and it's taken away by Alan Hadzibegovic, and then Josh Ward-Hibbert commits the foul. And that's going to be concerning to head coach Studel. As Josh Ward-Hibbert picks up his 3rd, and he's going to get teed up.
He's got teed up?
Yep, as he's leaving, decides to share a few things with the official. And taking his long, slow walk. Still giving the eyeball to the official.
On the bench, though.
Yeah.
That technical's on the bench. So 1 free throw for the Lions.
A little slow on the substitution. So 2:31 to play in the first half. Holloway heads to the line. It's the 1 shot for the tee and hits it. Now Alan Hadzibegovic will go to the line. And this is from the foul that precipitated the technical foul on Josh Ward-Hibbert. No Darius Defoe tonight for the Newcastle Eagles, as he is in a walking boot.
Yeah, rolled his ankle pretty badly. It's a good job from Hadzibegovic hitting that free throw, shooting 41%. Finally got that percentage from the free throw line up. So this has been his Achilles heel for the season. So really happy to see that he's knocked those both down.
So here we go, 2:25 to play in the first half. That shot off the mark. Hadzibegovic came up with a rebound, but Seneca Knight kind of undercut him, and they're going to get Knight for the foul. That's going to send Hadzibegovic to the line again. So he's really working on getting that free throw average up from 42%.
Well, and also on the lines over the limit. Both teams over the limit here. So this 2 minutes and 14 seconds is going to take some time, because lots of free throws coming up.
Brings a lull to the arena as the pace has been slowed considerably, and that's 3 in a row for Hadzibegovic. 4 in a row.
Wow, good job. Really getting that percentage up. There was a point where he was shooting the 3-point shot better than the free throw, so really happy.
Okoro drives, goes high off the glass. He saw the Twin Towers of the London Lions coming at him, but they couldn't get there in time, so a big bucket from Mike Okoro.
And that's what he probably needed, right? But that first step, that speed of him is incredible.
Peterson gets it over to Holloway, takes the screen, bounces off, takes another screen, inside, kicks it into the corner, Jaden Dallaire right through his hands.
Okay, Lemaire, do you see that? Lemaire was first to the ball, I like that.
I wonder if Sadiq Khan, Mr. Mayor, has some game.
Yeah.
Might be a nice little point guard. See if get him out there and see what kind of wheels he's got.
Love that.
He's wearing the right hat. Okoro high off the glass, so he's not just a three-point specialist. He is manufacturing offense for the Newcastle Eagles. Back-to-back buckets for him as Holloway will draw a foul on the drive, and this one will be issued to Cole Long. Worth noting, just 5 fouls per player in Super League basketball, not the 6 that the NBA players get. So Coach Stoodle's going to have to be very, very careful with his players' foul dispersion, because Cole Long just picked up another one. He's going to have to take a seat.
That's his second there, and Josh Ward-Hibbett with 3 and Pulliam with 2. Only Adebayo has 2 for London Lions, who's back into the game.
Yeah, this pace really has slowed down, Z. It is not fast and moving slow. It is lots of fouls, lots of trips to the free throw line. 36-33, 1:23 to play in the copper box here in the first half. A lot of great stuff coming up for you at halftime. Of course, you'll always get the best part of the halftime feature, which is Plays of the Week. I'm sure Zane Stewart will be featured greatly on those.
Not my voice.
Just your voice, not your plays. Look at this, right down the lane. Mike Okoro splits the London defense like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, and Coach Bozic, he doesn't really get that animated, but he's upset with Hazabegovic doesn't come over and help.
He went full biblical on the London Lions, part of the Red Sea. Right down to the promised land, he gets another bucket. That's 3 buckets in a row for Okoro. He was seated on 7 points for a long time, and a quick 6. Aaron Ryan out for a 3. Off the heel.
Whistle's been blown.
And Hazabegovic finds himself on the ground again.
That's James 0. Ooh. That's his first foul, though.
Okay.
So he can afford that one. But it's a handful when you got the big fella, Hazabegovic, who does such a good job. Look, you can see he puts both hands in his back and pushes him over.
And normally I'd say sending Hazabegovic to the line is not a big deal because he's 42% from the line, but he's hit the last 4. Announcer jinx. Gosh, misses that one.
I believe in that, you know. Now that now that I went from playing to now
part of the media.
Yeah, now I'm part of the media. 100%.
For the record, I never announcer jinxed you. You didn't follow that. You just said, you know what? I don't care what Todd Harris says.
I don't know.
I'm burying both of these.
I think I just shot under 80% though from the free throw line. I think it was like 7.
You were clutch, be honest. Obi Soko checks back into the game. Hazabegovic 4 out of 5 from the free throw line, which will raise that 42% free throw percentage for him. Okoro now drawing the ire of Adi Adebayo, rises up. That one was halfway down, almost to Heathrow Airport, and comes back out as James flexes up as Christian James renews his introduction to Obi Soko.
So about, what, 2 seconds difference?
Yes.
Between the game clock and the shot clock.
See what London does with this. Holloway. Big drive, big bucket. To Holloway with 2 seconds left. Pulliam will let it fly from half court, and it'll hit nothing but the glass. And that will bring the first half to a conclusion with the London Lions clinging to a 3-point lead.
Well, what a great first half of action. I definitely felt like Newcastle's done a good job just staying around. A bit of foul trouble, though. There is the halftime score, 40-37, changing up their defenses. But, you know, Mark Strudel was so good at that. He knew he was going to have to throw different things at the London Lions.
Let's take a look at the stats. You've got 47% to 44%, relatively close, 70% on the 2-point line, the field goal percentage. Now you see London Lions really struggling from beyond the 3-point arc, despite the fact that they have a 3-point lead. Rebounds clearly in the favor of the Lions, assists as well, and 5 steals for Newcastle.
Yeah, that was that in the first quarter. But those 12 assists that were coming from the London Lions is really good, able to share the ball, and we'll probably see it in some of these highlights.
Well, Z, London looked like they were going one of their patented runs, and I got to give credit to Mark Studel. He had timely timeouts.
Yeah.
When it looked like London was going to blow this thing open, get it by 5 or more, he shut it down and said, guys, let's talk about it.
Actually, I think that's a fantastic point. Just a really good job of using those timeouts. 1 for rest, right, because he's down a couple of guys, and 2 to be able to manage it. Manage London Lions pushes. I love that how they've come out. I thought Michael Okoro did very well, established himself in that first, kind of went a little quiet, but then heated up in that second.
Newcastle doing a great job of slowing the pace, getting in that half-court offense, especially when they could not get their outside shots to fall. They leaned on some veteran moves from Josh Ward-Hibbert. But then in the latter part of the second quarter, Z, it was Mike Okoro who came alive. We knew he would eventually.
Yeah, definitely. And also for London Lions, Peterson, those 8 points. I loved him getting out in transition. That's the London style. And then also Delaire with 7, who's able to, 1, stretch the floor, hit the 3, but also get to the rim.
All right, your halftime score, 40-37. London on top here in the Copper Box. Halftime entertainment coming your way. We'll be back in the Copper Box with the second half.
A new dawn rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
I think my legacy as a player, I would just love to be remembered as someone who just done it different. Well, I kept coming home just because the growth of the sport means a lot to me. It really does mean a lot to me. You know, there being opportunities for the younger players coming through, you know, there needs to be access for younger players and aspirations for younger players to be able to stay at home. Guys that go over to the States to be able to come back home. To a league that, you know, is run the right way and they can make a good living for themselves. I think this stint for me with London has been largely just about, giving back, you know, finishing in the right way and just helping grow the sport, you know, being an ambassador of the sport over here and just doing things the right way, you know, and trying to be an example not only for young British players in London, but guys around the league, do you know what I mean? Being accessible for guys to ask me questions, to try and pass on a little bit of information that I've might have learned being around Europe for, you know, for guys to help them in their careers. So that's a big part of why I come back. So yeah, started in Barnet, playing for Barnet Bulldogs. You know, it was my local team at that stage in my career, and I got to be so grateful for those guys. I think I would have realised I could possibly have a future around 14, 15, because I hadn't been playing very long, but around that age I think I had a big growth spurt, you know, and I just fell in love with it. It was just something where I don't know if I really realised that I had a future. It was more just the ambition, you know. I knew at that stage that it's what I wanted to do. I don't know how far I could go, you know, but, you know, America was the dream, America was the goal. And, you know, I've been blessed enough to be able to travel around and make a couple pit stops around the world, man. The blessing to have the experience of traveling and playing in a lot of different leagues is one big life lesson, you know. You go to different countries, you come across different cultures, you come across different styles of coaching, different kind of teammates from all over the place, and you really have to learn to not be rigid and to be, you know, be a bit malleable, be able to survive in different environments, you know, just getting the job done everywhere. So I think, you know, the lessons I've learned of you know, they'll carry me through life. And the doors that's opened, I got a lot of love for basketball.
Ashton Langford Spins, Irvin, baseline, Mitchell, catch and shoot three, nails it! DJ Mitchell! And Corey will slow it down. James, long pass over to Knight in the corner, 4 seconds, shot clock winding down, step back three! Oh, that's a tough shot.
That was a tough shot. He's only been in there a minute.
The boast to Delpesh. Mitchell calling for it in the corner. Won't go. Delpesh with a big offensive rebound. Gets Manchester another chance. As Irvin handoff to Delpesh. Underneath the basket. And Marcus Delpesh. Pulliam. Against Mitchell. Oh, what a move. Scoops it in. Cody John will take it all the way to the rack. Seneca Knight throws it down.
Seneca Knight, instant offense. It's 14 points personal.
And DJ Mitchell takes it to the basket.
What a good psychological advantage it would be for the home club if they can go out up on the aggregate.
As Mitchell swats the ball into the stands. DJ Mitchell, not in his house.
Right now, Manchester look a little bit rattled.
As Okoro takes the contact, he's going to the foul line and count the basket. Mitchell. Into Delpesh. Delpesh, too strong. Long, behind the back.
Oh, wow.
That's a tough finish from Cole Long. And he puts the Eagles up 4 on the floor here. John. Goes against Ward Hibbert. John inside, hangs in the air, banks it in.
DJ Mitchell wide open.
Ashton Langford in the corner, three will go! And Mackay Ashton Langford ties the game in the venue. John dancing around the outside, goes in, banks it in! Cody John takes the contact and the foul, goes to the line for a chance at a three-point play. Pulliam sets things up. 35 seconds left in the game. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Pulliam dancing against the post. Pulls up from the foul line and hits.
Wow.
And that is what he's done all season long.
Seneca Knight on the foul line.
Knight misses the second free throw, so misses both. Manchester still down 4. Mitchell pulls up for three. Knocks it down. DJ Mitchell brings Manchester back within 8.9 seconds to go. Knight looking to get the ball in. Has James. James will be fouled by John. 7.4 on the clock.
Luckily for Newcastle, he makes the first.
He does go 2 of 2 from the line. They're not going to take a timeout. 6 seconds. Ashton Langford will throw the ball up. I think Ashton Langford thought there wasn't as much time left in the clock.
I think Trey Pulliam was going to foul, so he wouldn't allow Ashton Langford to shoot the three. There's your ball game right there.
The Eagles have the ball. Okoro has it, and they'll dribble it out. And the Newcastle Eagles move on to face the London Lions in the semi-finals. Congratulations to them. A hard-fought victory over the Manchester Basketball. Manchester winning on the day 87-84, but the Eagles coming out on top on aggregate.
A new dawn has risen in British hoops as Super League basketball has taken centre stage. But this is about more than basketball. This is where legends rise and rivalries are written. Every game is a battle, every moment is electric, and every fan is a part of the journey. It's time to stand tall as the future unfolds and Super League basketball gets set to be bigger and better than anything we've seen before. New season, new stories, new champions to be crowned. From the opening tip to the final buzzer, every second counts. Every shot matters. Nothing is given, everything is earned. So who will rise, who will dominate, and who will make history?
Timberlake will go for the jam himself this time. This ring is certainly getting a lot of reverberations.
It's a slam fest in this fourth quarter.
Steele. Trying to get into the Delicum, and Steele's going to try to make up for that. Not before Hansi Begovic throws it down. And just what I was saying, be careful time with the ball. Hansi Begovic steps in front and gets the fans back into it.
Eagles off to the races. James spins off of Irving, finishes with Del Pesh. Wow. Says this is my block party. Wow.
Austin backs in. They go outside of Timberlake, and they're trying every effort. And you can go for the slam and go for the jam. It may not matter overall.
We have liftoff. Start racing.
Miguel Clay!
Have that! Throw it on the hammer, big fella. What a play, Donovan Clay.
Walsh is absolutely wonderful. Spike by the Leeds West shot blocker.
Charles Thompson enjoys those, doesn't he? More than anything else, you can just see.
What a good psychological advantage it would be for the home club if they can go out up on the aggregate.
As Mitchell swats the ball into the stands. DJ Mitchell, not in his house.
Back out to right. Uses it. Bean and attacks on Rick for the one-handed jab.
Unbelievable as a broken play, and it winds up in the hands of Ethan Wright, who just sort of pressed the ejection button.
Manchester doing a great job. Nice cross, and he drops Irving. Take a seat, young man.
Oh, that's going to be on the plays of the week.
Anderson says, Ricky, just go to the right. Anderson, oh, I can do that too. My name is Jamel Anderson.
Jamel Anderson rises up.
Back inside the copper box here in East London with a score 40-37. London Lions on top on aggregate scoring in the first game of 2. Let's talk about the man, Mike Okorozie. He got up to a great start, 6 points, went quiet, and then finished on a flurry.
Yeah, 13 points and 6 from 11. You're right, he started off on fire from the three-point line, hit 2 in a row, then started to, cool off, but all the right shots in my opinion. But then, because he wasn't hitting from the three, I liked his idea. He went straight to the bucket, used that speed, got past London Lions, multiple lines of defense, and got himself going that way.
So it is a 3-point London Lions lead. The largest lead they had in the first half was 5. And Newcastle, which we have mentioned multiple times, is a bit short-staffed, just 3 active players on the bench for substitution for head coach Mark Studel, with Darius Defoe in a walking boot, unable to go tonight. So it is London Lions now trying to build on the lead that they have, knowing that they will head Sunday up to Newcastle for the second go-around between these two teams. And the winner on aggregate scoring will be at the O2 Arena to play for the title. Tyler Peterson buries the first jumper. Nice start for him coming out the half.
And that's from Obisoko's screen there. That solid screen gives him a wide open jump shot.
Peterson now in double figures with 10 points. Back in the hands of Okoro. He takes a hard screen, goes right at Ovi Soko, and he's going to get the and one as Peterson had a hard screen set on him by big Will Neighbor, and Ovi on the switch just couldn't get around quick enough, and Okoro gets the shot to drop, and he'll get the harm.
And where he gets that speed, where he can get downhill, look at this. Just a nice little handoff, the little brush screen, and then gets himself to the rim and to the line for one.
Ovi Soko, one of the most active bigs you're going to find in the league, but Z is a big. You know when the other team's trying to rub you off and try to put you on that smaller guard, it's not fun, correct?
It's not fun. You've got to use your length there because the speed, obviously, we know who wins that one, but Ovi with the strength maybe get a little bit more distance between him and Michael Cullen.
Ovi Soko sets the screen on Pulliam, and look at Peterson, steps right into it. Ovi Soko's Tyler Peterson's best friend right now.
And those are stats that won't show up, right? Those screens are so important where the defense is trying to fight over Ovi Soko. Peterson back-to-back jump shots because of those good screens.
Okoro back with the ball in his hands. Cole Long, he'll pull the trigger on a long-range three. Can't get it to fall. Ovi Soko with the defensive rebound. London's looked to run. Brisker with the ball. Into the corner, gives it to Dallaire, just overshot his target.
It's a tough pass. Dallaire just needs to shift his feet a little bit as Aaron Rye fouls Josh Ward-Hibbert.
Yeah, he got tangled up with Josh Ward-Hibbert. Hibbert ends up on the ground, and Aaron Rye will pick up the foul. First foul for Aaron Rye. Yeah, this is a great job by Ovi Soko recognizing who's got the hot hand coming out to start the second half. Back-to-back screens, back-to-back Tyler Peterson jump shots.
The referees just spoke about it. One said London ball, but they had a little quick chat. Stays with Newcastle.
So here come the Eagles trailing by 4. Trying to keep this thing as close as possible. Big head fake from Will Neighbor. Gives it up to Josh Ward-Hibbert, who drifts to the baseline. Doesn't get the shooter's roll, but Jaden Dallaire comes away with the rebound. Into the front court quickly come the Lions. Peterson's hit his last 2 shots. Brisker now takes an Ovi Soko screen. Can't get it to fall. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with London. It's a pretty, I would say, pretty methodical pace being played by the London Lions. See, I mean, they'll take what you give them, but they seem quite happy to bring the ball up, get into an offensive set, and run some clock.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you where, you know, their strength is in numbers.
Yeah. Brisker on the kick out. Aaron Rye, Euro step drive off the heel, can't get it to fall. Will Neighbor comes away with it. And Aaron Rye's going to get his second foul in the matter of minutes as he reaches in on Will Neighbor.
It was a tough call. Aaron Rye just comes over Will Neighbor. Let's have a look here quick. Here's the Euro step. Beautiful move. Can't get the finish. And then this comes round.
So Peterson up on Okoro tight. Here comes the double. Okoro turns the corner, drives right at the glass, gets it to fall. Now, was that him or is that Cole Long? I'm going to go ahead and give it to Mike Okoro. Although it looked like Cole Long helped it back down to earth quickly. Jaden Dallaire sensing the mismatch, help coming. 3 black jerseys surrounding Jaden Dallaire, and somehow the ball is turned over to the Eagles.
I think Dallaire there is playing for the foul. You know, when you're looking at the referees, I'm not going to give you that. First of all, it's the playoffs, but you got to get yourself going. Here's Okoro getting down. Oh. Yeah, he dunks it in. So
give it to Cole Long.
Yeah. So
2-point ball game.
In a 2-3 zone, the Lions into a man-to-man. Okay, so it looked.
Pulliam pulls up, short. Will Neighbor there, ball knocked away by Peterson.
Neighbor needs to keep that high. Just keep it high, put it back in.
Soko down on the blocks, gets the double. Jaden Dallaire kicks to the corner. Aaron Rye open for a 3. Can't get it to fall into the hands of Long. He comes away with it, stumbling, and regains his composure and quickly gives it up to Mike Okoro. Will Neighbor, deep range 3. That was a monster 3 from Neighbor, and with that three, the Eagles take the lead, and Petar Bosic just said, you know what, I don't like the pace of this, let's shut it down and talk about it.
Well, beautiful job from Will Neighbor, shoots it in rhythm, sets his feet, he's straight down the middle. Here it is, that little screen. And
zero hesitation.
Yeah, zero hesitation and nothing but net. Splashes it in, forces London line. You know, Coach Bosic, as soon as a little run comes and a flurry of offense from Newcastle, he's seen enough. So, Newcastle, Todd, sticking around.
Yeah, no question about it. You look at some of the numbers you're getting from Will Neighbor, who's been, as you pointed out, injured much of this year. He's already got 9 points. His season average is 3.
Yeah.
So he is playing big minutes and answering the call for Coach Mark Studel. Michael Okoro can't do it all on his own, although he does have 16 points now. But they're going to take away Okoro as much as they can, the London Lions are, and now it looks like they're going to have to deal with Will Neighbor's outside shooting.
Yeah, and that's what they needed, right? I talked about it. Mike's got to go off for Newcastle for them to, you know, have a chance here, push London Lions, and then he needs his other guys. Neighbor stepping up long also with that turn, that dunk in off of the miss. So London Lions here, no need to stress, long time to go here. They'll just reset, get on the same page. I do think, like you said, they're playing to Newcastle's tempo. They're going too slow where they need to get out and get some easy buckets.
You're waiting for that tidal wave of offense to come from the London Lions, which usually comes in the form of a lineup that Coach Bosic has put together, and it usually involves some form of some of their better athletes, high flyers, Adi Adebayos, Kieran Sandys, and then they go on these big runs. But it's just not happening tonight, and they're playing a little more methodical ball. Now remember, this is all about aggregate scoring. So Newcastle, and I know you don't believe in moral victories, but Newcastle comes away with this losing this game, but only losing by 2, 3, 4 points. That's a win. That is a big win because they will go back home with the home court advantage then, and they will say, okay, now we can ratchet it up. We got nothing to lose but our lives here. We got to play big time at home.
Yeah, it's do or die at that point, right? It's win or go home, and then just that foul by James. But you know, I do think it's on the line here, and it doesn't matter if who you've got to call up. They've obviously got injuries, and they're playing well.
Stuckman's checked into the game, as has Tu Holloway. He's in the backcourt with Brisker. Obi Soko drives, lays up and over, and Obi can't get the shooter's roll. Okoro comes away with it quickly. Doesn't have the numbers and slips on a wet spot, and he slides out of bounds, and I don't know how a foul wasn't called, and he did something to his left hand.
Good job to keep the dribble, and probably just a court burn. Look at here, he slips, keeps the dribble, and then gets pushed by Peterson and throws it off.
Stuckman. Inbound play back to Okoro, and he is a man on a mission as he now has 18 points.
Outstanding job from him. Good out of bounds play. I love an out of bounds play. Executes it well and puts Mike Okoro on 18.
Stuckman, he's open for 3, and he'll let it fly, and he buries it. Tanner Stuckman.
Defense too deep in the paint there for Newcastle. Trying to really cut the paint.
Stuckman began this season with Caledonia. Talked to him last week. He said he was so happy to be in London. He said his wife's very happy to be in London. Misses the good folks up in Caledonia, but he's very happy here. He's found a home, and that's going to be an offensive charge going the way of Christian James.
Yeah, you know, Stuckman, that was a nice little pickup for London Lions because he would be home right now.
Yep.
Caledonia doesn't make the playoffs. They were the 9th team. They got sent home early, and Stuckman, for me, I feel like he made that lovely transition. He really slotted into this London Lions team, played his, you know, his minutes well.
Peterson from beyond the arc. Doesn't fall. Okoro comes away with it. Okoro looking to push the pace every time he gets his hands on the ball, and Peterson has no opportunity or no option but to foul the quick-moving Mike Okoro. If your name's Mike or Michael and you're from North Carolina, you probably ball.
Oh, yeah. And his mama or papa called him Mike for a reason, I think, probably. But good job from him. I like the pace that he's playing at, and that's the pace what I feel like London Lions are successful at. But nobody is kind of getting the ball out and running, where Mike can change the pace. He can slow it down, they can set up their play, or he just turns on the burners and gets to the hoop. So he's tied up the game here, and he's got 2 free throws to take the lead.
So Mike Okoro hits the first, an 81% free throw shooter. Played his college ball, place you know well, Florida, home of the Gators, and then over to UNC Wilmington. Gets them both. 2-point Newcastle lead with 5 minutes to play in the third. You know, great battle taking place right now with Christian James and Obi Soko. Keep an eye on this. Battling for position in the paint. Peterson drives the lane, dumps it over to Obi. Beautiful pass. Obi leaves it just short, but cleans up his own miss.
Really good job from Obi Soko. He's using that baseline very, very well.
Obi Soko is just lethal once he's inside the paint. Big, strong body. That shot off the mark. Okoro there to clean it up, and almost an and-one situation. He's getting fouled, and he'll send him back to the line.
He's upset there. He felt like he should have put the ball in, and the defense as well. But back to the line, and he's doing a bit of everything that time. The offensive rebound, that nice little fake, gets the defensive up, and he's at the line again.
20 points right now for Mike Okoro, make it 21. Okoro, who averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists during the season, up the ante in the first round of the playoffs with a 20-point average, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists through 2 games in their victory over Manchester. 22 points now for Okoro. Just like that is once again Newcastle in front by 2. So when will the patented London Lions run come, or as Mark Studel and the shorthanded Newcastle Eagles figured a way out to stymie them and slow them down? Brisker driving with 6 seconds on the shot clock. His shot goes up, and players hit the deck. Obi Soko called for the foul, and that will send Christian James not only to the deck as Obi picks up his third, but they will walk it down, and it'll be free throw time.
Well, yet again, London Lions here into 5 team fouls already with 3, just under 4 minutes. That's a long time. So if I'm Newcastle, I'm not settling for any jumpers. I'm attacking the rim. I'm putting the pressure on the referees to call the fouls, get to the free throw line. Not only do you stop the clock, but you put on points onto the board.
Not a bad option for Petar Bozic and the Lions as they sub out Obi Soko and bring in Alen Hadzibegovic. So you've got Stuckman, Hadzibegovic, and now a 3-guard rotation for the Lions in Peterson, Holloway, and Brisker. And that one rattles home for Christian James.
What does, let me see how many has Delay got? He's only got 1. He hasn't...
1 foul, 7 points.
Yeah, but he's not kind of rotated him into this, kind of lost him. Same with Sandy. He's got more bodies on there.
Yeah.
And kind of sticking with these same guys, where usually he goes deep into him and into his bench. And how long you keeping Aaron Rye on the bench as well.
3-point advantage for the visiting Newcastle Eagles. They are a 5 seed leading a 1 seed, and Holloway gets the shot away. I don't think they're going to give him the continuation he was looking for as he jumped across, but he will get 2 shots. A smart play as he lunged beyond the 3-point line. Trying to see if he can get the officials to give him 3 foul shots. Instead, they give him 2.
Yeah, and that's a vet move also, isn't it? He knows what he's doing. Played a long time all around the world, from Italy to Egypt to South Korea. He's got a lovely resume of playing pro ball.
Originally from Hempstead, New York. Terrell Holloway played his college ball at Xavier.
I think he's a Knicks fan.
It's got to be. He's thinking that the way the Knicks are playing right now.
Yeah.
A lot of Knicks fans coming to jump on that bandwagon.
Well, what's great is it's an 8:30 game on Saturday night.
Love
so
that, don't
we don't have to stay up till 2 in the morning. So
yeah, the Celtics are in the defending champions and are in a bad way right now, down 2-0, and they have to travel on the road. hard to believe the Knicks can close this out at home for the next 2 games. Knight, his shot for 3, buries it. One of the extra, doesn't get it.
Huge, insane. He hit his hand as well.
4-point Newcastle lead. 3:12 to play in the third. Fans getting a little antsy here. Peterson thought about the 3, gives it to Hadzibegovic. Double team comes, ball knocked out of bounds, and Mike Okoro is going to be issued the foul, but that's his first.
And they're only their team's 4th foul, so they can afford it. The next one will be shot. But done a good job, Newcastle, because obviously they picked up those couple of fouls early in that first half.
Brisker lobs it up to Hadzibegovic. Cole Long came over, but it was late. Lucky not to get called for a foul. Easy 2 for Alan Hadzibegovic.
And good job, Brisker, you know, finding, waiting, being patient for his big fella.
Pulliam on the drive. Ooh! And they're going to give that. That was on its way down, but a great effort. You know what, if I'm Coach Bosic, I'm okay with that. Because the effort he showed, not to give up on that.
Yeah, it comes over from help side, on a full sprint. Unfortunately, it's on its way down, so it's interference of the shot.
So that maintains a Newcastle 4-point lead. A little extra moisture on the court, so they bring out the floor crew to make sure that's all mopped up.
Well, 2-point game in the other semi-final. Sheffield 65, and Leicester, no, my stats have updated, 57, end of the third. So a great one over at...
Does that surprise you?
No.
I thought Leicester would be able to handle that, but Sheffield...
No, Sheffield is good.
Wow,
Coach Atiba Lyons has them, he's got his guys playing great defense, and they've built a really lovely team over there, so that's going to be a good semi-final as well, yeah. I would have it double screened right now.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
You can multitask with the best of them. 2:30 to play here in the third. London looking for an offensive spark, and it comes in the form of Tyler Peterson yet again. Remember, he hit the first 2 shots to start the third quarter, and he answers back now. So quick 6 points for 22. Pulliam weaving and dealing underneath, gets around Brisker, and is able to up and under that one on the reverse.
Oh, good poise from him, right? I thought we had absolutely nothing, but that little hesitation just opened up that gap. Gets the reverse layup.
59-55, Newcastle lead. Brisker loses the handle. Pulliam, Okoro. Great ball movement there as it ends up in the hands of Seneca Knight. 5 quick points for Knight. Back to Peterson now. 6-point Eagle lead.
Offensive foul.
They're going to get Hadzibegovic on that illegal screen. So he picks up just his 2nd personal foul.
A little frustration creeping in for London Lions.
Agreed.
But a good job from the Eagles, where that last bucket where they scored, boom, couple ball movements, quick little bucket. Lions at their own taste of their own medicine.
Coach Bush is not happy with Michael Brisker and kind of followed him to his seat on the bench to let him know about it. Aaron Rye back into the game. Okoro from deep range, well off the mark. Holloway hits the deck, able to get it over to Peterson, and here come the Lions. Aaron Rye off and running. Back to Peterson, back to Holloway, Stuckman in the corner. Ball poked away by Okoro, and it will stay with London with 13 seconds on the shot clock. 1:02 to play here in the third. Yeah, you get the sense, Steve, you brought up a great point. It's almost like London's being lulled into the Newcastle pace, Newcastle style of play. To Holloway now, out front. Trying to get into the inside, knocked off the ball, gets it right back from Stuckman. Peterson now has had the hot hand, goes inside to Hadzibegovic. 3 seconds in the key.
Building a house in there.
Wow.
You don't see that often.
You do not get that scene, which makes me believe that it was more than 3 seconds. So Newcastle getting all the breaks here to wrap up the third with 50 seconds to play. They've got a lead by 6. Does London have it in him in the fourth quarter to make an offensive run? They certainly have the firepower. Pulliam going right at 2 Holloway. He's going to draw the foul. He's going to stroll to the line.
It's important that as Holloway's third, though, and Pulliam with 6 points, he goes to the free throw line.
Obi-Soko with 3, Holloway with 3, Adebayo with 2, Rai with 2, Peterson with 2, and Hadzibegovic with 2. Pulliam, an 85% free throw shooter. Joined the team January 17th. Last 3 years he's been playing in Serbia, Cyprus. Last meeting against the Lions came on March 9th in a London win. It was 8 points and 3 assists for Trey Pulliam.
My thing is, how long are you going to leave Delaire on the bench there?
Leaves that one short but gets his own rebound. That's a good point.
Yeah, 15 and a half minutes, 7 points. That's a massive.
So saving him. Look at this crossover. Goes to the one hand, a little too much, can't get it to fall. Peterson now. 2 seconds on the shot clock and game clock. Shot clock at 10, game clock at 12. Peterson. That one's for 2, just inside the line. Didn't get the 3, now it's 3 seconds left. Josh Ward-Hibbert, he'll drive, hang, fire, can't get it to fall. So at the end of 3, we've got ourselves a ball game, ladies and gentlemen. 62-57, and it's Newcastle with the lead. They trailed by 2 at the end of the first. They trailed by 3 at half, and now they see a 5-point lead in their favor.
Yeah, good job. We spoke about it, right? They're playing at their tempo. They knew they had to come in this building, slow it right down, but then when they're not slowing it down, boom, they're out in transition so quick. Here's Peterson's last shot as he lets that one go. But for me, Newcastle really doing such a good job managing the foul trouble, managing the minutes, managing the bodies. You know, we talked about they've got a small bench, but the thing is, you know you're going to play, you know, and sometimes it's better to have a shorter bench where the rotations are quick. Coach Mark Studel's putting in a zone, putting in the man-to-man, luring London Lions to sleep where the energy is low. They're not igniting this building and using it to their full advantage.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Z, because I talked to Coach Bulsic of London before the game, and he talked about a short rotation, like you said, being an advantage where guys are in longer, they get their confidence. Let's be honest, it's the end of the season. These guys obviously are a little bit banged up, but they're probably in peak performance as far as cardio goes. So if they're asked to go 38 minutes instead of 32, I don't think it's going to be a big problem. And to Coach Bulsic's points, when you're in there longer, you got the coach's confidence, you're going to play with more confidence.
My thing is where is Delaire? I'm a little bit concerned with that. You know, he shoots just under 50% from the 2. He can stretch the floor, averaging those 13 points. I'm not sure. I don't know if something's happened or he's just got lost and faded away into that bench, because sometimes that happens and your assistant coaches need to do that. I think they need a spark of energy in this forfeit. Is not good enough for me. The state that they were in, you would think they'll be up more, and they're kind of in their feelings a little bit. Well, get in your feelings and start to play.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I will be fully transparent in saying that I was guilty of thinking when this game got started, after talking with both coaches and seeing Newcastle come out with just 8 players, I think there's no way they're going to be able to run with the London Lions. It's just London's depth is going to wear them down at some point. Hasn't happened yet. So all credit to Mark Studel, all credit to the Newcastle Eagles that have played, as they have played a masterful game today and stepped up.
Yeah, and you know, he spoke about that at the top of the game, how proud he is of his team, how tough, how resilient they've been, and this is proof in the pudding.
Sure, again, they are the winners of the trophy this year, the Newcastle Eagles, so this is not a scrub squad. These guys are serious as they came into the 5th seed.
And a finalist in ENBL, you know, European. They've been battle-tested throughout, not only against other teams, but having low bodies and guys having to play multiple minutes, it's a lot.
Look at Coach Bulsic on the sideline of the London Lions. He's kind of walking down the bench, looking at players, kind of just, who's going to step up? I can't do it. Who's going to step up for us? And right now they seemed a little bit perplexed on Yeah, who is going to step up?
You're going to have to put the egos aside. I think there's some feelings being hurt here, players not being played, getting minutes. But at the end of the day, you're in the playoffs here, and the coach makes the decision when you come on the floor. You need more. I think bodies need to be flying. There needs to be guys getting out. Bring some energy into this building. Like you said, those free throws, the foul trouble, and just slowing the ball game down, and they're at the free throw line has really slowed it down. So we're just seeing what's happening here.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're checking that last shot of Tyler Peterson to see if it was a 3. They initially said a 2. Now they're having a look at it again. You know what's worse than having your feelings hurt?
What?
Being eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I just hurt my... Let's take a look and see what the officials are looking at right now as Coach Stool talks to his assistants. Here it is right there.
Oh, that's
the official that was on the spot initially went to the 2. But I don't know... Yeah, we're not close enough. It's the other side of the court from us.
Let's have a look.
Use those young eyes of yours, Steve.
Ooh. The thing is, if it's inconclusive and you can't tell by the
you got to stay with the call on the court.
Yeah, you got to go with the call on the court, and that was a 2,
which they said was 2. But I think with this aggregate scoring in this game this close, every point's important.
But this is probably favors into Newcastle because they can get a little bit of an extra rest here. They huddle up. You see Josh Ward-Hibbett, hands around the guys talking. London Lions also huddle. They get a moment to have a talk. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because you don't want to cool off. You want to keep warm and the momentum of the game going.
So it's either 62-57 or 62-58, but I clearly saw the official on that side, Z, when he put up the shot, he held 2 fingers out. And he was saying it's a 2, so I got to think he was looking at the feet.
Have a look.
Here's one more time. Watch the official when he steps into it.
I think his foot is on the,
He's saying 2.
I think his foot is on the line.
But the official over here, the bottom of your screen, he's saying 3.
You're right.
So they got that all sorted out. So all that for we're still playing 57-62. Starting the 4th quarter here. Final 10 minutes here. Again, this is just halftime because the second half of this matchup takes place on Sunday in Newcastle. Cole Long turns around, finds himself all alone, comes up short. Holloway bodies up Seneca Knight to get the rebound. I'd like to see London, Z, and this is just my perspective, I'd like to see him turn up the pace.
Yeah.
Start running. Start really getting out and getting after it. You've got a team that's got a short bench, and Hadzabega is going to pick up another foul as he sets a kind of a cheeky screen, as they would say in this country.
Third. I hate aggregate basketball. I really struggle because, I've been in games where I was up 25.
Yeah.
And you can't relax still because, your tail's being chased.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I kind of just like that 1 to 2 point aggregate because then it's like a 0-0 game,
Yeah, it was interesting to see the other day on Monday. You and I were watching the game with Newcastle taking on Manchester, and Manchester won the game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough because on aggregate they lost. Nice work there by Seneca Knight. Had his shot blocked by Hadzibegovic. Retrieves the blocked shot and puts it in for a layup. 64-57 now. Under 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Backdoor cut. Peterson finds himself all alone. Beautiful pass and catch. Great play there, and that's exactly what London needs. And now they need to turn up the volume. But credit Newcastle playing their game and making big shots. Koro turns the corner. Had Hadzibegovic all over him. Cole Long trying to find some room to dribble on Peterson. Has the size advantage. Gets up. Can't get it to follow. Gets his own rebound and puts it in.
Oh, good job from Long. Really picking on Peterson in the mismatch and the size.
Back and forth possessions. Aaron Rye left all alone. 3 on the way. Can't get it to fall. Josh Ward-Hibbert with a huge rebound for the Eagles. Pulliam. That ball on a string like a yo-yo. Brings it back. Cole Long. Canada on Canada crime. Goes right at Aaron Rye. 5 seconds on the shot. Double team coming. And no one cut as Pulliam fired off a bullet. Beautiful pass, but there was no one there. Thought he had a player cutting on the baseline. No one was there. Obi Soko back into the game. Still no Jaden Dallaire.
Interesting. Very interesting.
7:42 to play in the ball game. It is a 7-point Newcastle Eagle lead. Can you imagine what that arena is going to be like? Turnover. Pulliam. Okoro. Off the glass. Can't get it to fall. Josh Ward-Hibbert crashes it. And they're going to stay out of bounds to the Lions.
Here
you go. Jaden Dallaire in for Stuckman.
Golly. That's too long as a player, you know. Now you've got to find your rhythm again. Now you've got to get warmed up. Look, he's stretching. That's really difficult, especially when you're used to getting into the rotation quick. And now you've got to find a new rhythm.
Z, I call this the go lineup. You've got Obi Soko, a rim protector. You've got Jaden Dallaire, who loves to get the lob passes and can shoot from outside. He drives, loses the handle, and turns it over. So you've got Dallaire and Soko up front, and then you've got Aaron Rye at a hybrid guard forward position, to Holloway and Michael Brisker.
Well, Dallaire turns it over, and that's what I'm talking about. Hands aren't warm, not into the rhythm of the game.
And you're getting a heavy dose of Pulliam and Okoro the rest of this game. Also Seneca Knight in there, Cole Long as well, and Josh Ward-Hibbert. Knight driving, spinning, turning back to his right. Fade away, can't get it to fall. Lions with the rebound. Holloway, he'll drive, hang, off the glass, can't get it to fall. Trey Pulliam's going to get called for the reach. And that's 3 now on Pulliam. So James has 3, Pulliam has 3, Ward-Hibbert has 3.
Just that little hesitation. Flying in the air. So James is going to come back into the game. You did say he had 3, right? Yeah.
Yep. Seneca Knight's going to get a breather. I have a feeling Seneca Knight, with his 10 points and 2 personal fouls, is going to probably get about a minute and a half, 2-minute breather, and then he's going to be back on. Unless James can go foul free for the next couple minutes. But I think if you're Mark Studel, Z, are you telling your guys, listen, this is the last 6:43. Play as hard as you have to. If it means you get your 5th foul, you get your 5th foul, but play as hard as you have to. No reason saving it.
Yeah, no. I do think you still need to manage it. It's still a long time to go, Todd. Just under 7 minutes.
To Holloway. Conley steps up and hits both, an 89% free throw shooter. And Holloway is good now to the tune of 9 points. Pulliam with the rock. Straight away. Takes the screen from James, now gets the switch. Obi Soko, and they're going to call James, and just like that, just what we were talking about, Christian James is going to pick up 4.
Yeah, that's tough.
Seneca Knight's rest may be shorter than 90 seconds. And there's where he gets tangled up with Brisker. So is this an opportunity? A little bit of a catalyst for the London Lions now for a spark. Brisker, Obi Soko spins right, goes left. Oh,
that
was pretty.
No, Soko magic. We needed that, and the energy is what they needed.
Yep.
That nice little fake, beautiful footwork, eyes up on the rim, easy finish, and calls the timeout. And the fans are up and out of their seats.
And there's some emotion on the bench of the London Lions, and the fans respond as Obi Soko draws the Lions within 3 of the Eagles with 6:16 to play.
Look at this nice little move from Obi Soko, getting himself going as well. And I think this 6 minutes now, let's go. Let's kick into the 5th gear. Let's stop messing around. We've managed the game. We're down 3. bring that intensity, please. You know, the one thing you can't coach is effort.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they need. I just think they're not living off of this energy. It's the last game of the season here in this building. So important that you can try and push some sort of momentum.
You got the mayor here. You got to show out for the mayor. Sir Sadiq Khan in the house on a Friday night.
Well, there you go.
League game.
There's the scorers. Peterson with the 18 and Hazabegovic with 11. Okoro with 22 points and Knight with 10. Those are the two guys we picked out. Peterson, though, really good job, and they're 82% from the floor. He's been efficient. I like it. He's had those nice little jump shots off of Obi's screens. Oh, there's the man. There he is. Looking like a cool kid on a Friday night. He's not suited and booted. He's got his London Lions
London Lions cap on. Nice little clean, as you would say, Adidas jumper.
Don't do that again, okay? It's Adidas.
It's an Adidas jacket. That's what I would say.
Okay. You're a Londoner now. You live here.
That's true. 63-66. Newcastle on top, and now London comes with the three-quarter pressure.
Yeah, a little full-court press. This is the energy that you need from the defense.
Gives it back to Josh Ward-Hibbert. Pulliam. And watch London now extend this defense beyond the arc. Shot clock now down to 7. Okoro turns the corner, pulls up from 15. Rattles in and out. Jane Dallaire with the defensive rebound. Here come the Lions. Brisker inside. Obi Soko. Obi loses the handle but keeps it to Holloway. Has to pull the trigger off the front iron. Obi did the splits there, was able to maintain possession.
But still, yet again, no second opportunities for London Lions. Not rebounding.
Oh, in an and-one situation.
On the floor. Going to call no basket.
Oh, wow. I thought that was a definite continuation as a beautiful lead for Trey Pulliam to Josh Ward-Hibbert. This sequence one more time.
Yeah, really little nice dime. Out of bounds here.
Cole Long. Okoro. Rye on him. Okoro takes the bump high off the glass. Can't get it to fall. Brisker comes away with it. Here come the Lions. Into the front court. Aaron Rye. Obi Soko. He was winding up for a little power move and denied.
Only 3 points for Rye, Todd. I think he needs to be a bit more aggressive. Look to score than to facilitate and pass.
Pulliam isolated on Obi. Crosses him over. Drives. No look into the corner. Cole Long. 3-ball off the mark. Offensive rebound, a fresh 14 seconds, courtesy of Christian James. 5 on the shot. Cole Long, step back. In and out. Big opportunity now for the Lions, down by 3. 4:20 to play in the ball game. Holloway. Brisker for 3. Aaron Rye with an offensive rebound and puts it back in.
Good job from Aaron Rye. That's how he's got to get himself going here. I just said he's only got 3 points. The mayor loves it. That's what they need. They need those second chance points to get back into this game as it's a 1-point game.
Okoro. James loses the handle. Jane Dallaire diving on the floor. To Holloway out in front. Up, can't finish.
Good job from Mike Okoro to get back. A foul.
Aaron Rye gave him the push.
And Aaron Rye comes over.
Yeah.
Sportsmanship says high five, and James says, get that out of here. I don't want it. This is playoff basketball. Slaps his hand away.
To Holloway will take a seat. Peterson back in.
Also, Josh Ward-Hibbert will take a break, and Knight will also come back in.
So Seneca Knight did get more than 3 minutes of rest.
Yeah.
Hazabegovic is also going to check in. Doesn't beat the play, so he'll have to wait for the next dead ball. Here's Okoro. Under 3.5 to play in the ball game. Okoro drives.
Oh no, rolled his ankle, I think. Ooh. Just tweaked it. This is not good. Their leading scorer of 22 points goes up and is in clear pain, and that's the thing. The physio is ready to run on, but if he runs on, he will have to sub out. Yeah, he's going to go.
Yeah, he came down on that and immediately was in discomfort. Have a look at it.
No, I don't want to look at it.
Goes right into the tall timbers, Z, and sometimes when you do that, you come down on top of people's feet.
You look at it. I don't like it.
There you go. Drives, takes the bump.
Please.
No, you don't see it.
Okay, good.
So that's a. But it's when he landed right into your front room, and it's the right ankle of Micah Coro.
Yeah, Defoe might need to take off his boot and give it to him.
Yeah, he's going to take the shoe off right in front of the mayor.
The mayor might as well sub in.
Yeah.
See what he's got.
I wonder if Sir Sadiq Khan has some eligibility left. This has got to be disconcerting for head coach Mark Studel. Not only does he lose his best player, as he will go to the line, and Aaron Rye once again dabs him up, saying, hope you're good. So he's going to have to step out as the physio came on, to your point. He was going to the line.
So the sub that comes in,
yeah, the sub that comes in will shoot the free throws, and that'll be Will Neighbor, who's a 7 for 8, 7 for 9 in the playoffs. It's the first.
It's a nice sub in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
One of the top free throw shooters. And that puts Will Neighbor on 10 points. Real nice noise in here to try and put Will off, but
hits it.
Ice in his veins, knocks it down.
So the former London Lion, Will Neighbor, steps up and hits 2 after being subbed in, which gives the Eagles a little bit of a breathing room with 3:20 to play in the ball game. It's Newcastle by 3. Inside to Hadzibegovic. It's an offensive foul on Jaden Dallaire, as Dallaire got tangled up with Cole Long.
And they're going to sub Dallaire.
Stuckman's going to come in.
This isn't good for his confidence either. He's got 2 fouls, and that's it. And that's a prime example right there. When you leave a guy on the bench to rot, you just can't get into the flow or any rhythm. He's upset, and now he's back on the bench.
Frustration on that London Lions bench as Micah Coro back into the game and goes right in. That is an absolute straight-up warrior.
I guess the ankle's just fine, Todd, because, wow, he comes in there, stops on the dime, and knocks it down.
I don't know who their physio is, whether it's Mr. Miyagi or what. He went over there and did the hand rub and then put his hands on it, but he comes back into the game at the first opportunity. Look at this plant.
Fine, little floater right over Briscoe's face. And Newcastle Eagles here putting on a lovely show. They've done a good job. We've spoken about it multiple times. Carl with 24 points. We picked him at the start of the game for one to watch, and boy, is he showing up and showing out. His team needed him to go big here, and 24 for him, huge.
Averaging 20 in the playoffs, bumped that up now to 24 points, 18 regular season points for him. But tonight his team has needed him, and he has delivered. Only picked up 1 foul, and Z, he has played so many minutes of this ball game.
Yeah, and really good job. I thought he started off the tempo of the game so well. He hit those 2 threes. He saw the ball go through. He went on a little bit of a lull, but then decided, okay, my shot isn't falling. I'm going to the rim. He got guys involved. Other guys have stepped up. London Lions, for me, have played right into the Eagles' hands of how they like to play. They've done a wonderful job with how many guys they have Coach Strudel has rotated and done a good job here. We're just under 3 minutes, more than enough time here to break into this lead for London Lions and potentially, like I said, it's a two-leg, right?
Yeah.
It's home and away.
This is just halftime, but to break it down for you, if the game were to end right now with the Eagles winning 70-65, that means London would have to go to Newcastle on Sunday and win by 6. Didn't matter if they win the game by 4, 5, 3, they would lose and be eliminated. They have to win it by 6. And Brisker answers the critics with a 3.
Massive, and that's what you need. Now you need the crowd to get yourself going, get the juices flowing.
James behind his back, up and in, count it. Big bucket from Christian James.
Wow. James goes through the contact and finishes. That's a tough bucket. And just counteracts that 3 down the other end that Delaire hits, and they said, not to worry. Let's get an old-fashioned 3-point shot. There's a nice splash.
So this is when Coach Studel's going to get creative, because Will Neighbor comes out for defensive purposes, and Seneca Knight comes in. James knocks it down. 73-68. 2:22 to play in the ball game.
Trying to find Brisker here. Multiple screens for him.
Napoleon doing a great job. Look at Newcastle extending their defense as Cole Long is going to get called for a little bit of a ticky-tack foul there as he fouls Brisker.
Excuse me, that's only the Eagles' 3rd foul.
Yeah, and he only picks up his 3rd.
Yeah,
so
only his 2nd actually. On the board it says 3, but so I'm going to go with that.
Peterson now. Skip over to Stuckman. Shot clock at 5. Aaron Ryan's got to go. Drives the lane. Hangs. Ball partially blocked. Christian James takes it away. The tenacity of Christian James has really been impressive. Michael Coro's working the offensive angle. Christian James is being the enforcer tonight. Alley-oop, ooh, that went awry. I don't know if you needed that right then. Seneca Knight, I mean, it would have been beautiful to hush the crowd a little bit, but they had tons of time on the shot clock, see?
Yeah, Mike says that's my fault. Just a bit too much sauce on that pass. Out of bounds, turnover. Now London Lions need this.
Final 90 seconds of game 1 of semifinals. The ball taken away. Newcastle, Knight, dunking. 2 more points for the Eagles.
Good
and
job.
Peter Bosic calls a timeout with 1:23 to play, and it is now a 5-point Newcastle lead.
Good job from Knight. Wow, and Okoro sharing the ball. That absolute turnover, then into the transition, and that's why Newcastle have been so good here. Boom, dunk it on London Lions, where they're able to, one, slow it down, but if they've got the steal, they're off to the races. Really played such a London Lions type of game against them, but London Lions haven't been hitting shots. They haven't been getting second chance rebounds. They've obviously, you know, had a little bit of foul trouble with Soko with 4, with Aaron Ryan with 4, trying to get their guys in. But for me, Todd, if I'm going to round this up and put a bow on it, it's the energy. Yeah. It's the energy that I don't think London Lions came in here. I think a little bit complacent maybe, looking at Newcastle. Oh, they're hurt, they're banged up, but they're well coached. And they're coming here and trying to cause an upset.
The team that came in shorthanded and banged up is playing like the team that has all the players in the world, all the confidence in the world, as Newcastle makes the journey to the capital city, which a lot of people thought, being shorthanded, taking on the team that is the regular season champions, you got no shot. And somehow Mark Studel got his 8 players, I'll say that again, his 8 players that were available tonight to buy in and believe.
Absolutely. And I spoke to Defoe, and he said, hey, we got the train down earlier, so they weren't in a crazy bus ride, you know, down from Newcastle. That's a long drive, so they've taken a nice train ride. They're on the same page. They've had guys step up other than your big Michael Koru. You've had Neighbor with 11 points, Long with 9. Other guys getting involved. Everyone who's played has scored and done very, very well.
All right, so here we go. 1:20 to play in the ball game. London's got to be very efficient as Brisker pulls up for a three, rattles out. Obisoko gets the ball, tries to throw it off a member of the Eagles, and it goes into the hands of Mike Okoro, who immediately gets fouled by Tyler Peterson. So what that's going to do is stop the clock, which is good for London. But now you're sending one of their better free throw shooters, Mike Okoro, at 81% to the free throw line. I think the fans here at the nearly sold-out Copper Box Z are a little shocked.
Indeed, but there's still time. Remember, this is an aggregate game, so as he misses that free throw, if you're going to lose, if you're London Lions, you want to make that very, very small.
Okoro looking for his 25th point here. And he gets it. So that makes it an 8-point lead. See, this might be time to start teeing up the threes. Pulliam gets the foul.
That's only their team fourth, so it's not even free throws yet.
Nope.
Is it time to tee up the threes? I don't know. I think you get something efficient, and like I said, you just chip away at that lead, get a good bucket here, something quick, turn around, full court press, and try and turn them over.
Forget about the last time these teams met. It was a London Lions 79-68 victory here at the Copper Box. This is a whole new playoff basketball, and Seneca Knight is a breakaway train as he is fouled, and fouled hard, sent to the floor. And are they going to give that to Peterson or Obisoko?
Obi.
And Obisoko has picked up his 5th foul, and he has earned a trip to the bench.
And yet again, London Lions taking too long on this offensive play, trying to get something. They're pushed away from the basket. Their back is turned. Newcastle hawk them down like the Eagles that they are, and they're off to the races again. Sensational game, really, honestly, well coached from Mark, and just, you know, bit by bit, didn't get overwhelmed, play by play, and free throws are gonna be important. You want to add to the score. If you're winning, you want to add to the score, and if you're losing, you want to.
79% free throw shooter is Seneca Knight. There's 48.2 seconds left on the game clock. 76-68. So Z, you got a decision to make.
I do.
MVP.
I do. I'm going to go with the obvious, Mike Okoro, 25 points. Outstanding job here. London Lions possession.
Stuck with Peterson. Peterson drifting, fading, off the front of the rim, can't get it to fall. Mike Okoro adds yet another stat, as he has earned himself a date with one of Zangy Stewart to talk about being the MVP, and it looks like a Newcastle win, as London has just kind of conceded at this point, backing their defense off with the shot clock now at 8, game clock at 14. Okoro throws it out of bounds. Okoro right into the camera. Ooh, he takes a shot to his elbow on the tripod.
And for me, there he is, MVP of the game. 25 points and those 4 assists. His average on the season has been just under 18. He was fantastic today.
He has earned a well-deserved rest on the bench, as the final seconds will tick away. Holloway will drive. He'll get the bucket, so that will close the gap. And now down to 7. If he can make this shot, it could be 6.
That's a good job from Holloway. Doesn't matter what's on the clock, you need to chip away.
Mike Okoro wants to come back in, and he's going to come back in.
He said, I'm playing no.
Come on. You know what? He's probably coming in to get that last shot. So it's a 7-point lead. Newcastle's going to get the victory here in London, but by how much? As Holloway goes to the line for one shot, an 89% free throw shooter, and gets it. So it's London on 71 points, timeout on the court, 3.7 seconds. Where else would you do this, Z, except for aggregate scoring?
Yeah, it's important here. You know, sometimes people get upset with the timeouts. Oh, there's only 3.7, but like you said, when it's aggregate basketball and the score matters, you've got to take the timeout, draw something up. You can also advance the ball up the court, and that way you get a good look at it. It's important. Yeah. Every point counts because they've got to go home and they're trying to go up with as much as they can.
So coming up on Sunday, London will make the trip north to take on these same Newcastle Eagles. And what will be their deficit? Coach Bozic's now preaching serious defense for 3.7 seconds. The key is, obviously you don't want to foul, especially on a three, to give them a 4-point pass.
Absolutely not. You want to play solid defense. Obviously team fouls are on as well, so just stay big, have a hand in the face, don't foul at all.
So we'll see who brings out who. They're going to come out, London is, with Adi Adebayo, Aaron Rye, Hadzibegovic, Peterson, and Holloway. And we'll see what Newcastle answers. We saw Mike Okoro looked like he was done for the day, but he is coming back out along with Seneca Knight. Will Neighbor, good three-point option as well as Trey Pulliam and Cole Long.
Talk about a competitor, right? He was Mike was going to sit down and sub out, but instead he said no.
So on the timeout, they advance the ball to the front court. It'll be Trey Pulliam that'll be inbounding the ball. They'll put Hadzibegovic on him. 3.7 seconds, plenty of time to get a good shot off. Here we go, the final 3.7.
Got to get it in.
Neighbor, he's got to get it. Oh, it almost worked as he alley-ooped it to Trey Pulliam, but Pulliam comes up just short. But in the end, it is the Newcastle Eagles that come to the capital city and pull off somewhat of an upset. The 5 seed takes down the 1 seed in the first half of aggregate scoring. So now Newcastle will head home to take on the same London Lions with a 6-point aggregate lead.
An amazing game from Newcastle Eagles. I think London Lions need to regroup. They're very lucky that this is a two-way, that they've got to go on the road though, but it's not easy to play in Newcastle. So I'm going to head down, Todd, to speak to the MVP of Mike.
So Azania Stewart on her way to speak with her MVP, and no surprise, and it's Mike Okoro. Okoro going for 25 points. Remember the last time these teams played, Okoro did not play in that meeting back in March, but he comes into the playoffs averaging 20 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. Regular season, 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. But the game has come to an end. After 40 minutes of ball play, it is the Newcastle Eagles that come away with a 6-point victory, and they will roll those 6 points into Sunday's matchup at home. Well, not the way the London Lions wanted to wrap up their final home game at the Copper Box, as the fans turned out in mass, but they could not deliver the victory. And so the fans will head home a little on edge, knowing that their team is going to have to overtake the Lions by more than 6 points. There you see the final stats. Field goal percentage somewhat even, 62%, 55% from 2-point land, 3-point land, 22% for the Newcastle Eagles. London Lions only hit 3 threes all night long, 3 of 20, and that was really evident in the final score. Free throws 88% to 67%. There you see the rebound advantage to the London Lions by 10. 10 more assists as well, at 10 steals for the Newcastle Eagles, and that 7-point steal margin turns into 6 points on aggregate. So they are certainly in control of this one. London will bounce back nicely. You know that's going to happen. They are a championship caliber team, as they are the regular season champions, but now they've got themselves dug in a hole, and how will they respond on Sunday in Newcastle? Well, the story was really the second half of this ball game, as Tyler Peterson really came out with a hot hand, and they moved the ball around nicely, finding open jump shooters. But again, only 3 3-pointers on the night. Trey Pulliam came alive as a great distributor, finding Cole Long on the wing. But let's remember, at the halftime, it was London by 3. In the third quarter, Newcastle outscoring London as they took a lead at the end of 3, 62-57. On their way to a final score of 77-71. And Will Neighbor with a monster three-pointer. Newcastle just kind of lulling London into their style of play. And let's not forget, and I know we've kind of elaborated on this multiple times, but it was Mark Studel's squad that came in with just 8 active players on their roster, 3 subs for the whole game. And so you did think that London would pick up the pace, run on them as much as they could. And Newcastle, to their credit and their coach Mark Studel, anytime that London started to feel a little bit of a momentum shift, they would just shut it down with a timeout. So a great game, great composure by Newcastle as they come to London after a long trip from the north, and they get down here this morning. Coach Studel telling me they had enough time to get in, have a team lunch, get a nap, get up their feet, and then come over to the ball game. So it's Newcastle getting the win over London. The MVP of the match is standing by with Azania Stewart.
And Mike here, MVP, 25 points and 4 assists. Just tell me how hard it was to win here at London Lions.
It was tough. Crazy environment, a great team we played against. I'm just happy my guys, we followed our scout. And we have a 6-point lead at halftime. We just have to get ready for Sunday and try and get a win to get to the 0-2.
And for you, you hit those 2 threes in the first quarter and got yourself going. Just talk about your offense. I mean, you are the 2nd leading scorer in this league. How important is it for you to get going for this team?
I think it's extremely important for this team. My coach and my teammates, they give me the power to go out there and be me. And I try to do my best and lead my team. And, I had a good game today,
And how excited are you to go back to Newcastle in front of your fans to finish up this semi-final?
Very excited. Like I've been saying all year, we got the best fans in the league. I'm sure it'll be a sellout. They'll be happy to see us, and we just have to go out there and get a win and get to the 0-2.
Well done. Good luck in the second half. Todd, back to you.
So Mike Okoro leaves the Copper Box Arena after starting off with 2 quick threes. Then he went cold for a few minutes, but he came alive at the start of the second half, getting 3 buckets in a row, and down the stretch, he was money. Ending up the night with 25 points. Such an impressive performance. Remember, he turned his ankle where it looked like he was done. The physio came on the court. He had to leave, but then he pops back in, and as soon as he comes back on the court, he hits his first shot. So congratulations to him and the Newcastle Eagles as they get the win. Once again, the final score, 77-71, and they take that 6-point advantage north, where they will face off with the London Lions on Sunday. Right now, let's go back to Azania Stewart, who's with head coach Mark Studel.
Coach, first of all, congratulations. You talked about how proud you were at the start of the game. Talk about it now, being up 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's half-time in the fixture, so we've got to make sure we keep our feet firmly on the ground. But I'm really proud of our performance, and I think that's really key. Mike Okoro, you just spoke to, not only is he an incredible ball player, he's a great human. I'm so fortunate in my job where I get the chance to work with people like that and build relationships with people like that. And, when he's putting a team on his back and everyone else is following, I always believe that we have a chance. We know the job's not done. We know it's half-time. Really proud coach, though.
I thought you did an excellent job today coaching, definitely making London's play to your style. You switched up the tempo, you changed the defense. How important is that now going back home and also finishing the second leg at your house?
Yeah, and I'm really proud that we get a chance to play at home on Sunday. I know that our fans will come out and fill the arena. Coach Bozic and those guys, I think they've done a great job all year. I think they've got a lot of talent in that roster. We know we're in for a dogfight, but I think London know they're in for a battle as well. So excited to see. We got to try and get guys fresh. Hopefully have a safe travel back tomorrow, and looking forward to Sunday.
Well, congratulations and good luck on Sunday. Back to you, Todd.
And our thanks to head coach Mark Studel. So once again, his Eagles come to London in the Copper Box without Darius Defoe, without other players, and they get the win 77-71. Want to bring you up to speed on what happened earlier tonight. It was the Sheffield Sharks defeating the Leicester Riders at home by 10, so they will take that plus 10 aggregate scoring to Leicester for their game on Sunday. Remember, you can see that game on DAZN. That's at 3 o'clock. Leicester versus Sheffield. Then at 4:30, it's London versus Newcastle, with Newcastle holding a 6-point lead on aggregate. Think of it as halftime for both these teams, so plenty of time for them to come back, plenty of time for the London Lions to rebound. They just have to win by more than 6. Well, what a season it's been here for the London Lions, the regular season champions. They take some hardware home. The Newcastle Eagles, they win the trophy, and now the big showdown taking place on Sunday. Can Newcastle defend their home turf and get it done? And we will find out. Once again, it'll be a double header, on Sunday. You'll have Leicester and Sheffield at 3 p.m. And then, of course, at 4:30, it'll cap things off at the semifinals with London traveling to Newcastle at 4:30. And it all culminates on the 18th, the championship at the O2 Arena here in London. So, on behalf of our entire hardworking crew here in London and my partner, Xenia Stewart, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from London in the Copper Box. Once again, the final score, Newcastle Eagles 77, London Lions 71. Good night, everybody.
Where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League basketball, a new dawn is here.